Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa. And before we get into today's video, this is my live stream. It is live again today. It was live yesterday. It was beautiful. I'm back to full-time streaming. It is the best. You get to watch me throw loads of SR away. I think I threw Grandmaster away on Statebait yesterday. It was wonderful. And we've got some more stuff to give away. So twitch.tv/Unit Lost. Check it out. So let's talk about the report system because it has been updated on PTR. And let's just go over what it actually looks like now. So cheating is not playing extremely well, getting a lucky streak of hits, or successfully predicting an enemy player's movements. Poor teamwork is not playing a hero that is not considered optimal by the community, or staying silent in team voice chat. There we go. I was literally choking about that. Inactivity, as I get booted for inactivity, which is kind of hilarious, is not playing a sniper or defensive class without the enemy entering an area you are guarding. Abusive chat is not asking a player to switch to a different character or giving suggestions to team members to improve their play. See, I think these are the interesting bits, the is not bit. Not actually what it is, because we all know what it is, but do we know what it is not? Bad battle tag is not a player name, team name, or battle tag using a language, well, that's not your own. Spam is not communication intended to alert teammates of danger or better coordinate your team trying to take objectives. And griefing, simply making a mistake or playing poorly, that is not griefing. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the start of Blizzard upgrading their reporting system, which was extremely bare bones up until this update on the PTR. And actually, it still kind of is bare bones. But what this gives us is a definition as to what is and what is not each various form of reportable offense. This is huge because this will hopefully help players out. Now, the biggest problem with all of this is everybody has a different idea of justice, don't they, ladies and gentlemen? So, what this means is it's very, very difficult for a system to be in place where you have users reporting people that they want to be banned or want Blizzard to take action upon. So what Blizzard are doing is trying to make this more streamlined, more sort of informed from the user's perspective. So when you look at the report system, yes, you can say, all right, this guy on my team, he only ever plays Torbjorn. He is the worst player ever. He threw the game. I can't believe it. If we had a Zen or something instead of the Torb, we would have won. This guy is the worst. I've had him in 4 or 5 games. He only ever plays Torb. Blizzard, ban this guy. They will not ban a guy for that because that is not a bannable offense. And this is the problem. This is where the confusion comes from. And like, to me, the poor teamwork option is probably why most people get reported, or even the griefing option, right? Because people think players are griefing or they've got poor teamwork if A, they're not in voice chat, or B, they're picking heroes that are not meta. Now, we need to have a discussion about meta picks, because if we look at Symmetra and we look at Torbjorn, and those two can literally just be interchanged in this example. I'm not hating on people that play those characters, because honestly, you can play whatever the hell you like. But let's say Dorado, the first point. You've got a Symmetra or a Torb. Very strong on the first point. Holding down the choke, yeah, it's great, it's awesome. But then you lose that point. And then that player doesn't swap to a Lucio or doesn't swap to a Zen or some other support, right? They stay as that hero. What do you do? Now, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, you probably think to yourself, and I do the same thing, and I'll even ask them, I'll go, hey, Symmetra, could you swap to a Lucio now? They might, or they might just ignore you, or they might just say no. In that case, what happens, right? Well, you report them, do you? No, you don't, because that's stupid. They can play whatever the hell they like. And don't worry about meta or anything like that, because it doesn't matter. At whatever point you play the game at, and I've played the game with top 500 players and all kinds of stuff, and pro gamers, you name it on ladder, everybody. Team compositions can be literally anything, it doesn't matter. The problem comes from players attacking those players who will not change off the Symmetra, off the Torb, and it's generally those two heroes which are the problem. You can maybe say Hanzo sometimes, but it's generally Torb and Symmetra that are seen as the ones that people are trolling or griefing or poor teamwork, etc, etc. It kind of isn't, right? And this is why it is so difficult, because it is and it isn't. The problem with this system, and this will always be the problem with the report system, is it both protects those players and enables them to do what they're doing. And I honestly believe a lot of those players that do that kind of thing where they just play one hero and they don't want to play anything else, they do it, especially if it's Torbjorn or it's Symmetra, sometimes they do it as like a troll thing or a griefing. Not so much griefing, but they're being trolly. It's like, yeah, I know people are going to be like, oh my god, it's Torb. Because some people like that, right? They like the attention maybe, I don't know. The problem is you can't report them for that. You have to do one of two things, and this is how you approach this. You don't open up the report system and go, this guy only plays Torbjorn, he's the worst ever. I mean, obviously I've played a load of games on the EU server. Recently I've been playing quite a bit on NA, but on the EU server there are some very well-known Torbjorn players, and they are quite irritating in the way that they communicate to the team. And you can see they are obnoxious. They're intentionally acting like that because they know, well, they're playing within reason, right? They can play whatever they like and they can be obnoxious. They're not being abusive, they're not throwing games, but they're playing that Torbjorn because it's like, haha, I'm playing Torb. You guys know what I'm trying to explain, right? That kind of thing. So one of two things happens at the start of the game. Let's say you're on Gibraltar attack. You've got an attack Torb. Not maybe the greatest thing ever. Can still work, obviously, whatever. It could be fine. The team either go, oh god, let's try and work with this, or they go, oh god, this is the worst ever, swap to something else. At which point that guy will start saying, why should I swap? And then they start to say, well, because you're playing Torbjorn. And then the Torbjorn guy's like, well, you swap, you know, and then a stupid argument breaks out and you end up losing the game. But here's the interesting thing. That person who engages the person who is the Torb or the Symmetra or whatever, actually they could be reported, because more often than not, those are the guys that are involved in the abusive language, and that is a viable reportable offence that Blizzard might take action upon. This is why it is stupidly complicated to have a report system in a game like this. Now I know other games like League of Legends, like Dota, they do have, I believe, a system where they alert you that action has been taken against a player. Everybody always asks about this for Overwatch. It's like, yeah, I'd like to know that my report's been acted upon. You will never know that, ladies and gentlemen, because that is not something I don't think Blizzard would ever do, but it's just, it's almost like that encourages witch hunts, and I'll tell you why. Because imagine if I report Stylosa, right? Stylosa said something to me, I don't like him, so I reported it, right? Suddenly, I get a message a few weeks later and it pops up and it says action has been taken on the report you have sent, but I have only sent one report in. I know that I have banned that Stylosa player, so I can start saying on forums, maybe I'll make videos, maybe I'll do whatever, I can start being public about it that I've had this guy banned. I know he's been banned because Blizzard have told me they've taken action against this player, blah blah blah. It was me that did this because it was the only report I sent in. That could cause witch hunts, and that's never going to happen. And honestly, I don't even want to know that action has been taken on my ban. Problem is though, right, when you send a report in, you often feel like it's just falling on deaf ears. It's like, I've sent a report in, what's happened? I don't know, you know, but have you sent a viable report in? Now, I don't know the way the system works at Blizzard, but we can pretty much guess that it works like this, right? There are 25 million plus players that play Overwatch. You cannot realistically read every single report. I would be very surprised if Blizzard read every support, right? Instead, what I think happens is, after a number of reports for the similar type of offence go in, they probably take a look to see if it is viable, right? Because if you're getting reports from different places, from different games, over a certain period of time, probably that player is slightly dodgy. And then they might take a look and then maybe go, oh, okay, we need to do this, or we don't need to do this. Now, the thing is, if Blizzard had people look at every single report, they'd probably go bankrupt because they'd need so many employees. At least that's what I think, right? That's feasible, right? I think that's feasible. So, let's look at more detail on this report system, and you can tell from this video so far it is very detailed. The video itself is, because this is such a complex issue. Like, it has never really been solved by any dev, any game company. It is literally impossible to sort this out in team games because people have got wildly different ideas of why others should be reported or be banned. If we look at Overwatch specific examples though, imagine you're about, you're one game away from getting into Diamond. One game away, and you go into a game and you've got an attack Torb. What do, right? It's a high pressure environment for you, so you're going to be like, right, Torb, can you swap the Torb? We don't need the Torb. And he's going to be like, no, I'm playing the Torb. And you're like, please swap the Torb. No. And then you lose the first attack, you lose the second attack, you can't break through on Hanamura. You start to get more and more tilted yourself, so then you start to say things that maybe you don't normally say. You start effing and blinding, you start being abusive to this Torbjorn. He could actually report you for that, right? And he's within his rights. You can't report him, but you get more and more aggressive. Imagine if you get banned after that game, after one offense, right, where it was very high pressure. It is ultra competitive, Overwatch is, especially when you're playing comp. You don't want to lose, and then you lose because of what you perceive is this guy, right? He has caused you the loss, so you report him. Nothing will happen. But then, if this happens again and again and again, which often it tends to do, right? People are very good at passing blame onto other people. It's like, it's not my fault, it must be this guy that caused the loss. Oh my god, I can't believe it. This guy was the worst thing ever. That makes you more and more, toxic. You become more and more inherently toxic, and it starts to spill out and you become more aggressive. This is why I always say, rank doesn't matter. Don't go into a game thinking if I lose it's the worst thing ever and then try to look to blame people, because you're just going to be worse. And a lot of the time it is kind of like adolescent petulance, I guess, where people are getting way too hyped, and you shouldn't. Just take a step back and just chill. And I'm not just saying it's younger people or teenagers or people in their younger 20s. This affects everyone. I mean, hell, you know, I've been affected by this, so I just have to sit back and think, right, okay, I've just got to chill. It wasn't that guy's fault. Maybe it was something I did. We've just got to play maybe a little bit better. There is, of course, another way of looking at this as well, and this is a scoreboard system, because right now in Overwatch, it's very difficult to see what actually people are doing. Now, the reason for that is to stop griefing. Well, I guess it's not really griefing, is it? It's to stop abusive behavior, really. So if we had a scoreboard, let's just say we had a scoreboard, which all it did was show everybody on your team the deaths and elims, right? And, you know, maybe the accuracy or whatever. But I'd be only really interested in deaths and eliminations. And it showed the enemy team as well. What this would give you is information that everybody can see on their own screen, but the whole team could see it. This would let you look at, say, the DPS player. If they had high deaths and not a lot of eliminations, maybe they're not doing anything on DPS, so you could ask them to change. But here's the problem, right? That gives you a reason to attack that player, doesn't it? Gives you a reason to say, get off that soldier 76, you've got 7 elims and 20 deaths. You are doing nothing, please swap the soldier. That player then knows they're doing nothing, it is publicly visible, it's almost like they're being publicly shamed, and then, well, what happens? See, the thing is, I want this in the game, but I don't think it's ever going to be there because of those issues, right? Maybe Blizzard at some point, maybe one day, will be like, look, people already can kind of work out what's going on. You kind of know, right? If you've got a Widowmaker on your team and she's not landing any shots, if you've got a Genji that's dying all of the time, you can kind of work that out. You see them in the kill feed, you know they're getting killed. It's like, what's going on? So you can still kind of look at people like that. But if you had the hard numbers in front of you, would it be easier to flame them, or would it be easier to make changes to the team? I think my problem with that kind of thought train is that's the way I approach it. Like, I would look at the problem and think, okay, how can we solve this? If I'm not playing well on a hero, I'll say to the team, guys, I'm not playing very well, can we swap, right? Because I'm not going to sit there and just try and play against it, just try and smash my head against the wall if I'm getting destroyed. Which leads us on to another issue. Imagine if you get wrecked, and it's happened to all of us, right? Well, you don't have to imagine, because it's happened to literally everybody. I've been in games where Roadhog has dominated me, right? And he kills me over and over again. And it is really frustrating for me. And then my team will start attacking me, saying I'm doing nothing. But it's not actually true. I'm just getting hammered by this guy. He's playing really well. He's shutting me down. I actually still am contributing, but I'm just getting wrecked by the Roadhog. In that case, the lines become blurred, don't they? It's not as sort of black and white. It's not like I'm playing bad. It's like I'm playing okay, but I still am getting killed by this guy. But nobody else is really able to take up the role of the DPS slot that I'm in. So I've got to keep trying. And it is a really good game, and it's back and forth. And then we lose. Then you get flamed at the end of the game for being bad, for being the worst soldier ever. On one of my other accounts, which will remain secret because this is a special place where I go to chill, which actually is in Grandmaster. I think it's 4.2. I won't end the rating because you guys can probably work out who it would be, but let's just say it's at 4.2. I was playing McCree on that account. In a game, I had 67% accuracy at the end of the game. Gold limbs, gold damage. And still, I got flamed by my team for doing nothing. This McCree is so bad. Worst McCree ever. Worst McCree EU. And I'm thinking, actually, I did okay. I know gold medals don't necessarily mean anything, but why would that player think that? And actually, they went on to say they were going to report me, etc., etc. I don't think they did report me. I mean, I don't know. But why would they think that? Well, maybe it's because they were getting killed by, I don't know, a Tracer, which they expected me as the McCree to repeatedly kill and protect them from. So they stopped blaming me. Or, and this is the main thing, maybe they wanted to play McCree, but didn't actually step up and say, I'm going to play McCree. And then suddenly when things start going bad, they start wanting to attack you, right? And in that case, it's just ridiculous. I mean, what I've gone over in this video, it shows you how complex this issue is, guys. It's not as simple as just reporting a player and expecting them to get banned. It's like, oh, you're the worst thing ever, I'm going to ban you. What is simple, though, is if somebody has an offensive name. That means if there are players I know with offensive names, which when this goes live, obviously I can report them in a more concise manner. And I don't know how these players exist on the ladder as they do, because they're quite high skilled players, so you see them quite a lot on live streams and stuff. They should be forced to change their name, because you shouldn't have names that are offensive. If people are being racist in the chat, which is crazy because Blizzard will have chat logs of that, you can expect to get instantly banned for that. If people are using hacks and aimbots, well, again, that's going to be bloody obvious because everybody's going to report people who are hacking and whatever. Well, I say that, actually. I used to work on a Counter-Strike server. about 10 years ago, and I used to be one of the admin team, and what I used to do is watch replays of hackers, and it was very difficult to actually work out who was hacking. But after 3 or 4 of the admins decided that yes, maybe he was hacking, they get banned for it or action taken against them. So, but generally aimbots are just normally stupid. It's the clever hackers that are hard to find, with the little minimal sort of the hacks which sort of lock onto the head, but you have to have good aim for it's pretty complicated. But generally, blatant aimbots, let's say Soldiers Ultimate, they're very easy to see, and those players will get banned. So things that are very simple to ban are awesome. But what I think is the majority of reports that Blizzard get are for poor teamwork. And it's people thinking that somebody's hero selection is bad, so they need to be reported. It's somebody thinking that because they only play one character, they need to be reported. Or because they're not using voice, they need to be reported. And do they need to be reported? This is the problem. It's a massive grey area, isn't it? Overwatch is a game built on swapping your heroes, built on playing with your team. If you go into the team game just not wanting to play as a team, should you be punished for that? Well, no. Blizzard can't punish you for not using your microphone. The community can't punish you for that. They can't punish you for just selecting a hero because you only ever want to play Bastion in every single game mode. They can't do that. Those players have to be allowed to play the game. This is why I like to make videos and try and educate the community, try and produce stuff where we all try and get together as a big unit and say, guys, let's try and work together. Let's try and do this, because Overwatch is at its absolute best when everybody works together. Yesterday, on my live stream, of which I'm going to promote right now, ladies and gentlemen, which is twitch.tv/unitlost, we won a 5v6. A Grandmaster level 5v6 game. How the hell did we win that? Because our team really pulled together. We really pulled together. There was great communication, and we won. The enemy team probably started to get a little bit tilted because they were losing points to a team which, well, didn't have a full complement of players, but that's not our fault. But we really pulled together, and it's moments like that that make Overwatch such an awesome game. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about the report system. Let me know if you've reported people. Don't give me names of the people you've reported, but just let me know why you've reported people, right? So just give me a reason, say bad language, and then maybe what they said. Or maybe for poor teamwork. I'm more interested in that, to be honest. All right, guys. Very complicated issue this is. Hopefully, as time goes on, we will get slightly better report systems and things like that, and the community will hopefully get better as Overwatch becomes a more mature game, becomes a more refined experience. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is UnitLost. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I will catch you on the next one, guys. And don't forget, I am back into live streaming, which is on twitch.tv/UnitLost. Give the channel a follow. I'll catch you next time, guys. Toodaloo.